This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is precisely 6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda and read by Ramesh Piris. The headlines. The President envisions massive development project in the eastern province akin to Mahaweli Development Project. The Prime Minister says sports help to build a healthy nation. The Central Bank to issue directives to banks to reduce lending rates. The government allocates another 250 million rupees to purchase paddy. The Pirivan teachers' pension problem to be solved soon. Vietnam and Sri Lanka begins discussions for a bilateral agreement on agricultural development. In news overseas, Chinese President tells Prime Minister Narendra Modi China and India should properly handle bond issue. In sports, Asita Fernando gets top UK cricket deal. Now the local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, addressing a special committee meeting, drew parallels to the successful implementation of the Mahaweli Development Project during the 1980s, affirming a similar commitment to expediting the Eastern Development Project. He emphasized the imperative of fostering a conducive environment that reinvigorates the nation's economy, stressing on the need to engage India's assistance for this endeavor. Highlighting the strategic importance of the challenge ahead, President Wickremesinghe underscored the comprehensive vision for Trincomalee's transformation into a multifaceted hub encompassing energy, transportation, maritime, commerce, naval operations, aviation, industry and tourism. He underscored the collaborative role of India in realizing this strategic program. Addressing the gathering during the opening ceremony of the 47th National Sports Games at the Sugatadasa Stadium, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena commended the athletes and coaches for their achievements at zonal, regional and national levels. The Premier said coaches play a pivotal role in shaping athletes to succeed at national and international level, and therefore the country should recognize their commitment and dedication. Premier Gunawardena added that successful athletes inspire others and sports in general inspire and help create a healthy nation. The Premier, on behalf of the government, expressed his gratitude to all coaches and athletes for showing their talents and succeeding at national and international level. The government has allocated another 250 million rupees to the Paddy Marketing Board to purchase paddy. Chairman Buddhika Itlamalgoda said stocks of paddy were purchased from 11 districts. Accordingly, 39 warehouses will remain open for farmers to sell their paddy stocks. Earlier, the government allocated 250 million rupees to purchase paddy from farmers. According to Paddy Marketing Board, around 2.7 million metric tons of paddy has been purchased under the program thus far. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news. The issue regarding the pension for Pirivan teachers is imminent, according to State Minister of Pirivan Education, Vijitha Beragada. He emphasized the necessity of amending the Pension Act and the Pirivan Education Act. The recommendations provided by the Department of Pension, Department of Attorney General and Department of Legal Draftsmen are currently undergoing the approval process by the Cabinet of Ministers. A preliminary discussion was held at the Ministry of Agriculture recently regarding entering into a bilateral agreement for an agricultural technology exchange program between the governments of Vietnam and Sri Lanka. The discussion was held with the participation of the Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaravira and the Ambassador of Vietnam to Sri Lanka, Ho Tai Tan Truc, and other officials of the Ministry of Agriculture. Agriculture Secretary Gunadasa Samarasinga, Director General of Agriculture Department Malati Parasuranam, and additional secretaries also participated in the discussion. Minister Amaravira said, while the use of new agricultural technology is widely practiced, especially for the agricultural sector in the country, in order to improve the agricultural output, the country's farmers should continue to use new agricultural technology. And that concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Moving on to the main news story, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka will issue directives to licensed banks today to reduce lending rates in line with recent policy interest rate revisions. Accordingly, a circular will be issued today with the directives on the methodology to revive marketing lending rates. During a media briefing in Colombo, Governor of the Central Bank, Nandalal Veerasinghe, said, market rates are not reflecting the recently monetary policy relaxation and therefore they decided to make an intervention. Accordingly, directives were issued on methods to ensure the market lending rates reflect the policy interest rate reductions. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
In Watchlight this evening, 2 days of leave have been granted to those teachers and principals who are involved in the GCE ordinary level paper marking process. Accordingly, 28th and 29th of August will be given as leave as per a decision made by the Ministry of Education. And that came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
Moving on to the World News Bulletin, and first the headlines. Chinese President tells Prime Minister Narendra Modi, China and India should properly handle the border issue. Donald Trump's mugshot released after booking at Georgia jail on election charges. President Putin breaks silence over Wagner boss Prigozhin's reported death. Now the world news in detail. China's foreign ministry said earlier today that President Xi Jinping told Prime Minister Narendra Modi in discussions on Wednesday that both sides should bear in mind the overall interests of ties and handle properly the border issue. Beijing also said the meeting at the sidelines of the BRICS summit in Johannesburg came at the request of Prime Minister Modi. Neither side had on Wednesday acknowledged the meeting, but Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra said on Thursday both sides agreed to step up efforts for the disengagement of troops and de-escalation of tensions along the line of actual control after a conversation between the two leaders. A scouting Donald Trump posed for a mugshot on Thursday as he surrendered inside a jail in Atlanta on charges that he illegally schemed to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia, creating a historic and humbling visual underscoring the former president's escalating legal troubles. The booking photo instantly became part of the former president's legacy as he confronts criminal charges in 4 American cities while seeking to reclaim the White House. His aides swiftly seized on the image fundraising of the first mugshot in American history of a former president as representatives of the harassment Trump is encountering. His opponents, meanwhile, are likely to use it to remind voters of dangers in electing a president facing dozens of felony charges. Vladimir Putin has broken his silence over Yevgeny Prigozhin's reported death some 24 hours after the Wagner chief's private jet crashed. Russia's president said the head of the mercenary group was a talented person who made serious mistakes in life. Mr. Putin also sent condolences to the families of 10 people said to be on board the plane that went down near northwest of Moscow on Wednesday evening. However, he stopped short of explicitly confirming Prigozhin's death. From the moment the plane came down, there has been frenzied speculation about what caused the deadly crash and whether Prigozhin was indeed on board, as stated on the passenger list. Back to the headlines of the world news. Chinese President tells Prime Minister Narendra Modi, China and India should properly handle the border issue. Donald Trump's mugshot released after booking at Georgia jail on election charges. And President Putin breaks silence over Wagner boss Prigozhin's reported death. And that concludes World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 125,000 rupees. Contact 037 7500 500.
In development news, the collaborative effort between the CEB and the Asian Development Bank, which funded the Pulpitiya Hambantota Transmission Line project at a cost of $55 million and traversing 11 divisional secretariats extending from Ambagamu to Hambantota, is a commendable achievement. The CEB noted that the transmission line boasts an impressive capacity, underpinning its potential to accommodate increased power demand and facilitate efficient power flow. The new grid substation in Hambantota is a key element of this project. Boasting the completion of the 2 power transformers with a collective capacity of 500 megawatt per hour, the substation is poised to play a pivotal role in the power distribution network. The CEB said the upgrade signifies a considerable augmentation of the region's power supply infrastructure. And that was development news.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well-experienced home cooks. Salary 125,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 037 7500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
Moving on to sports news, Sri Lankan fast bowler Asitha Fernando has reportedly agreed to a deal to play county cricket in the United Kingdom this season. According to cricket sources, he is likely to sign with Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club to play the England and Wales Cricket Board's county championship competition in September. The deal is important for cricketer Asitha Fernando as Sri Lanka does not play test cricket during this season this year. Sri Lanka is also scheduled to tour England next year as part of the test championship. Meanwhile, retired Sri Lankan fast bowler Suranga Lakmal is also currently playing in the UK County Championship for Derbyshire County Cricket Club. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, the Colombo Port City Economic Commission has achieved a significant milestone in its journey to transform the Colombo Port City into a globally competitive special economic zone. The Parliament of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka this week approved a comprehensive incentives program proposed by the Commission in consultation with the Minister of Investment Promotion. The guidelines for granting exemptions or incentives to business designated as businesses of strategic importance. This was published by Extraordinary Gazette number 2343/60 on 4th of August 2023. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, the Sri Lankan rupee marginally depreciated against the US dollar. According to the exchange rates issued by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka this morning, the buying rate of the US dollar was 317 rupees and 80 cents, while the selling rate is at 329 rupees and 63 cents. The indicative exchange rate announced by the Central Bank is 324 rupees and 5 cents, while it was as high as 360 rupees and 66 cents on the 24th of February. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
And finally, moving on to the weather report. A few showers will occur in the western and Sabaragama provinces and in Galle, Matara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara, Batiklo and Polonnaruwa districts during the evening or at night. Mainly fair weather will continue elsewhere over the island. And that was the weather report. And to conclude this news broadcast, a recap of the main news headlines. The President envisions massive development project in the Eastern Province akin to Mahavali Development Project. The Prime Minister says sports help to build a healthy nation. The Central Bank to issue directives to banks to reduce lending rates. The government allocates another 250 million rupees to purchase paddy. The Peruvian teachers' pension problem to be solved soon. Vietnam and Sri Lanka begins discussions for a bilateral agreement on agricultural development. In news overseas, Chinese President tells Prime Minister Narendra Modi China and India should properly handle the border issue. And in sports, Asita Fernando gets top UK cricket deal. And with that we conclude this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.